guys, this is Andre Musgrove from the Bahamas. I'm an underwater photographer and filmmaker and also dive guide for freedivers, spearfishermen, and scuba divers. I'm going to be talking to you guys about spearfishing here in the Bahamas. That's where I am right now. So some general information about spearfishing in the Bahamas is free diving is the only way you can recreationally spearfish here in the Bahamas legally. So free diving on breath hold, no scuba equipment, no scuba tanks, no external breathing apparatus. We use primitive gear here, so that's pole spears and Hawaiian slings, also 3-prong pole spears. So it's basically just a stick with a rubber band on the end, or it's more like the Hawaiian slings are more like a bow and arrow setup. So it's like a bow, what we call a sling, and a shaft, a metal shaft with a barb on the end and a flopper, and that's the equivalent to the arrow. So it's really primitive spearfishing here. It's really primitive equipment, and it's the only way you can legally, recreationally spearfish in the Bahamas. And I personally enjoy it way more than spear guns, using spear guns. Obviously, well, you're not allowed to use spear guns here anyway, but I feel as it's more challenging, it's more skill that you need to have to actually shoot with these gear instead of spear guns, assisted gear. So popular species you can find here in the Bahamas are groupers, hogfish, mutton. Then we got your pelagic fish, whereas APs, African pompanos, permits, wahoo, mahi, cerro jacks, cerro mackerel, Spanish mackerel. Such a variety of fish we have here. Most people come here to hunt the groupers. So we got the big black groupers, the yellowfin groupers, Nassau groupers, tiger groupers. Also hogfish. If you're going on a rocky bottom, find some hogfish and some mutton snapper to come through. Even if you're hunting reef fish, like if you're going out to hunt reef fish and you happen to be on the edge, what we call the drop off, anything can pass through there. It's just basically goes, some of the reef goes from, let's say, 40 or 60 feet, then a slow decline all the way down on the drop off. Can get anywhere from like 200, 300, all the way down to 6,500 feet. And between our water column, between 0 and 100 feet, some APs can pass by, permits can pass by, wahoo can pass by. So on the same dive you're doing black grouper drops, wahoo can pass by on the same thing too. You just never know. For me, hunting in the Bahamas compared to any other place is we have such good underwater visibility here. We usually have over 80 feet plus underwater visibility. We have year-round sunshine. The weather's usually good. It's not too windy where you're completely incapable of going out, so that's a lot better than most places. We have such a variety of fish that we have here, and because the Bahamas is a popular place with the Bahamas is a popular place, but we have over 700 islands and keys here, so there's a lot of ground to cover. And when you know where to go, or you have a good guide to guide you or where to go to spearfish or just to free dive, it's really beneficial because there's so much untouched ground here. That's usually where I take clients to spearfish, to free dive, to find fish in like big black groupers that they don't usually see around, a place for African pompano, or if they want to get like hogfish and like they want to get like a new personal best hogfish or something like that. Like having a proper guide and knowing these places is much different for me than, like, say you go somewhere in Mexico where you have to dive down all the way down to 80 feet and the visibility is only like 5 feet and you can't see much and it's cold and all that kind of stuff. Oh, we also got pretty warm weather here too. Warm weather here almost year round. Even in the winter time, the lowest it'll probably get is like, I mean, it could get low as like 69, but that's super rare. It's usually around like 74, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the summertime, it can get all the way up to 88 degrees. So like burning, you don't even want to wear your wetsuit kind of thing. And so the combination of warm water, shallow water, where you can find world record fish in like literally 10 feet of water, sunny climate, good weather, clear visibility, good variety of fish is like the spearfisherman dream. Because we have such a healthy population of fish in the Bahamas, that means we have a balanced ecosystem. That means it's a balanced ecosystem means that there's sharks. So we got a lot of sharks here in the Bahamas. The shark The Bahamas is a shark diving capital of the world. One of the shark diving capitals of the world. And it's like you can have tiger sharks show up, you could have hammerhead sharks show up, reef sharks, bull sharks, silky sharks, mako sharks, depending on where you are, depending on the island you are. So these sharks can pose a problem if you're spearfishing in a spot that has a lot of sharks, or if you're spearfishing in a spot and sharks come to that area, obviously because you're shooting fish, there's fish blood in the water, you're going to attract these sharks. It's just a part of the game. Basically, you just need to have the experience and know what to do, or have a proper guide with you who knows what to do in these situations, so you don't get hurt, you don't hurt other people, you don't put other people in a position to get hurt, and everybody can have a good day, get fish on the boat, go back home safely, and without any shark attacks or any shark damage, or even any damage to the shark, as minimal damage to the shark also, because you want to respect the other animals that are in the ocean. Sharks are only doing what they're basically born to do. They're only there to find the opportunity to find food, and if someone's going to be shooting a fish and have it on the line struggling, they don't have to go catch that fish themselves. They're going to take advantage of the situation because they have to survive. That's just how shark works. You can't go out and expect like, oh, these sharks are so mean, why are they always trying to get my fish, they don't eat this fish. Like, we're going into their homes to actually spare fish and take what they can eat, and it's a balance that actually needs to give. So of course the shark's going to take advantage of trying to get a meal, and that could be a danger for us if we don't really know, if us humans, if we're not in the position to know what to do, or we don't have the proper people with us to know what to do. That's why it's always important to have a experienced guide with you, and also have experience yourself and what to know in these situations. I'm out here in one of the southerly islands in the Bahamas, and we are going spearfishing during this quarantine time to go get some protein, get some fish on the boat, so we can actually have some food to eat, some protein to eat. And we went out on this ledge, rocky flat bottom, got some cave systems there in the rock, and we saw a lot of hogfish, a lot of small hogfish. We got some good sized hogfish, big Cubera snapper, let's see, lionfish was out there, big Nassau groupers were out there, mutton snapper was out there too. And one of the interesting hunts that I was on that dive, like one of the dives I did, was I dove down on, we're about in 65 feet of water. It's just like coming off the edge from the rocky bottom into the sand. And it was about, I saw a fish trap down at the bottom, like an old fish trap. It was all broken up and buried in the sand. And I dove down, I just free fell down to see what was going on. And I was looking around, and I was gonna just bounce dive to come right back up when I realized there's nothing in there. But I decided to hang out to the bottom and just look around. I was just looking around, just seeing if there's any hogfish off in the distance I could swim up on, or if there's any mutton fish coming in. And right when I decided to go up, I think I was down for about, 50 seconds or so. I don't know. It felt like a long dive. It was after a hard day of spearfishing, like no lunch, no water. We were in the water probably for like 5 hours straight. It was coming down to the end of the day, and right before I decided to go up, I saw just the shape of a mutton snapper coming towards me. So I came like 15 feet off the bottom and dove back down, and I lined up the shot as the mutton snapper was swimming towards me. And this is rare for me to see personally. Mutton is usually like a fish you have to track down or catch off guard to shoot. Yeah, you obviously get situations sometimes where you go down to the bottom and you attract them with some sand or some rocks or some grunting or whatever and get them. But I've never seen a mutton swim this direct on a mission towards somebody, and actually gave the opportunity to get a great shot. So the mutton swam straight towards me, and I dove down. I had it lined up. The moment it turned broadside, took the shot. It was a good shot to the head, didn't brain him directly, but it was a holding shot, and it was a shot right behind the brain, so it didn't knock him out completely. And he was fighting. I called my buddy down to help me pull it up, and we got to the surface, and it was sick. It was a pretty big sized mutton. We had a bag full of fish, and so we were able to have dinner and lunch for the next few days and share it with other boats in the anchorage that we're in right now. So that was a pretty cool experience. Got it all on video. It was a super cool way to end the day. I love hunting mutton because they're usually the more difficult fish to hunt, other than like a Nassau grouper or a hogfish, or even if it's like a mackerel just swimming past and you get a shot. Like the mun for me give more of a challenge in my opinion, and I love hunting big mutts because they're so, like the older they get, obviously the more experience and more challenge to actually hunt them, so the reward of actually sparing them is great, and obviously they taste great, whether it's fried, baked, smoked, campfired, whatever you want. I personally prefer it fried, and that's what we did. So just a final tip I'd give anybody who is spearfishing in the Bahamas or wants to come spearfishing in the Bahamas or looking for a spearfishing trip in the Bahamas, is really important that you have a proper spearfishing guide and have a proper spearfishing experience. If you're hoping to come here, like you need to know the seasons of what's open and closed season, of what you can spear or not spear. You need to have experience with sharks, or be prepared to have experience with sharks, because that is going to happen if you're going spearfishing here. Places to go, like you need to know where to go. So all of these things, with having a proper guide to actually get you to these places, is what I recommend. And also, don't put yourself in a position that you or somebody else can get hurt due to human negligence, basically. So if you're surrounded by like 6 sharks, you're not that comfortable with sharks yet, and you go down and decide, yeah, I'm gonna still spear this hogfish. Like, you're gonna have to take that risk that when you spear that hogfish, those sharks are probably gonna try and get your fish, which means you're gonna put yourself and your buddy, hopefully you have a buddy also, in a sketchy situation to even get that fish out the water that might turn out not so good. So don't put yourself in that position. And that's about it. The spearfishing in the Bahamas is one of the best in the world, and I recommend anybody to come down here and check out spearfishing, whether it's your first time or experience. People come here all the time, repetitively, each year or more than once a year, to come spearfish in these waters, and I can't blame them. So I'm heading out for a dive now actually, so catch you guys later. Peace.